That doesn't happen in a lot of Collider screenings. That is a very unique thing.
How did you guys like the little coda?
She should have stabbed him. She should have cut his fucking neck open.
Sorry, we were arguing in the hallway about
And then we made it all like, did it happen? Did he know? Is that gonna happen? Does he stop her? Is he gonna? No, man, have her just fucking six.
We want to hijack your meeting here.
No, it's fine. I like seeing you guys argue over things. It's actually fantastic. Before we get started, I want to give a huge thank you to IMAX for being an amazing partner and for doing the streaming tonight. Thank you, IMAX. A huge thank you, and to everyone standing over there for making this happen. Obviously, I want to start with just a moment to just reflect on Lance and his contributions to the films, and just if you wouldn't mind giving it up for Lance. I love his work, and I just wanted to, say, I just wanted to take a moment to thank him. You know what?
Yeah, he was a great man, good friend, good artist. He's one of the original cast members that started the John Wick franchise. I think he was one of the first people we ever cast, actually, back on the first John Wick. So,
before we go any further, I just want to also say a thank you to the two of you, and I think I speak for everyone in this room. I know how hard it is to make movies. To make a movie like this is really, really effing hard, and I just want to thank you for all the work you guys did to make this.
Thank you.
You guys have put on screen some incredible action set pieces, and I am curious, with the 4 films, what do you think were like the top 3 in terms of the difficulty from staging, filming, everything that went into it, training? What were the top 3?
Arc de Triomphe was pretty hard. A lot of cars. A dog. And stuntmen. That's all I got.
You got the Arc de Triomphe?
The Arc de Triomphe was a little tricky.
I know, man.
Halle Berry, number 3. The dogs. A lot of dogs.
The dogs.
A lot of crotches.
Yeah. And what about, just even like the first one, because we didn't know what the heck we were doing.
No, probably that.
Yeah, like the first, like the home invasion. Like that kind of was like.
That was pretty rough.
It wasn't rough, but let's go to the club.
Sick, yeah.
Yeah.
Keanu had like a fever that
No, but
day.
we also, you might have known it was going to happen, but I certainly didn't know.
Yeah, probably. We got that from you. We didn't want to tell you too much.
But
yeah, probably the nightclub first movie was pretty good.
Just because it was so new.
Clueless. Yeah, we were clueless.
And then what about the party scene fight in Rome on 2?
No, I forgot about the rock concert.
Yeah, the rock concert fight. That was pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
What about 3? Horses, riding horses, getting off of horses?
You know what? I'm going to put that as number 2. So I'm
about the horses.
The horses in Brooklyn.
One.
The Brooklyn does not like horses.
We're just picking the...
Somebody had the idea.
So we're taking all the time about
answering
Steve's question here.
No, but we forgot that we had trains.
Yeah.
So we had to do a horse chase under trains. Horses don't like trains.
No.
So every 20 minutes, the train would come by and the horses would have to take off, and he was...
Yeah, but people think it's just me riding. It's like this whole rig with a guy actually steering the horse, looking backwards with fucking wires.
That's
the horse went crazy. I fell off and buried into the back.
Yeah, it wasn't very John Wayne.
I like how it basically goes to every movie. You're just mentioning every set piece and being like, that was impossible. Oh, that was impossible.
Yeah, we keep trying to get better, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
So Chad told me that the way you guys come up with the next installment is at the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo over whiskey.
That's happened a couple of times.
Right. So for people that, could you sort of pull back the curtain on that? Is it literally you guys at the bar drinking a certain kind of whiskey and just shooting the shit?
Well, what happens is the film gets released in Japan usually a few months after the States. And so we've known what the reaction from the American audience is, and I guess the studio Lionsgate has a perspective on whether they want to make another one or not. And so it's usually in Japan where it's either like, oh, they said we can do another one, and then we look at each other and go, well, what do you want to do?
I don't know.
And then we just make shit up. We usually come out of Japan with at least 1 or 2 ideas.
Always one good
one or two ideas.
That's the whiskey.
Yeah.
Can I ask what is the whiskey of choice for each of you?
Well, Yamazaki or Hibiki.
Yamazaki, Hibiki 21.
Yeah, probably so.
Hibiki 21 is quite good and also impossible to get.
Not in Japan.
Yeah. So for this one, the idea was because we have to come up with a why, right? What's the why? Why make it? And after chapter 1, well, just after John Wick, it was like the why. Well, he's on the run.
He's on the run.
But even before on the run, maybe let's open up the world. And it was like the marker and all of the friendship stuff.
High table, all that came up.
And then chapter 4 was why make it? And it was like, okay, he has to die. That would seem like the only reason to make it. You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible. He can't survive the high table. I mean, you keep fighting. That's the whiskey talking?
Not yet. Wait till Monday.
Which of the 4 films, and I'm curious for Chad, which of the 4 films changed the most in the editing room in ways you didn't expect?
Good question. I would say probably number 3. Number 3, we kind of shifted the second act around a little bit. Funny enough, I think obviously there's a lot of work to be done. You try to really find the throughway to the story. Like on number 4, as you guys just watched, we try to do a lot of different characters and a lot of different storylines all converging on John's storyline. Number 4 is most like the script, I think, of all the movies. I think it's the truest to the script as far as editorial goes. I'm trying to think. Number 2, it's end of second act, and number 3, we had to find a little bit with all the montagey stuff, but I think number 3 was where we shifted story a little bit more in editing to really streamline it. I think number 3 we were just under 2 hours on that one, so I think that was probably the most streamlined one we had.
So this film is 240 plus credits. Let's say something like that. How long was your director's cut on this one?
Oh, 3:45 easy. No credits, like right on.
Now, when
like intermission.
I just have to ask, when you say the director's cut 3:45, you mean like that's an assembly cut or that's a cut that you actually thought about showing?
No, that's what we showed the studio. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, but I think
How Not to Get the Studio on Your Side.
Yeah.
By Chad Stahelski.
Yeah, go to Chad Stahelski's film school. But I think there's probably like 15 minutes just for enjoyment for me. I'd probably put back in because it had a lot more Berlin. It was more world building. But I think the movie we released is probably absolutely the best version of everything we've tried. And we tried all kinds of different stuff just to proof check it. But I think this is the best version. But there's cool little scenes that just didn't make it. Sure. With Keanu in Berlin, he finds guns. That's why. There's this whole Berlin part, and there's a lot more club fight. There's a lot more Arc de Triomphe. A lot more.
So can I ask, and obviously we're talking about the theatrical release in IMAX theaters and, in movie theaters, but is there a chance like the Blu-ray would have some of these scenes?
I don't know. I think there's some pretty funny scenes. I think that we did that will probably get released at some point. I don't know if it'll be part of another cut, but I don't know. We'll see how we do on Monday.
So when you're doing, this is for both of you, when you're doing an action scene with people fighting, generally there's no extras because you can control the environment. And in this film, you decided to do a Berlin club scene that involved people, music, lights, rain, Scott Adkins being amazing, and just basically making an impossible scene. So who was like, this is what we're going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, you met with the production designer. That was like it's like almost a post whiskey idea of like, I want there to be water in a club scene.
Yeah,
so
my dad's a plumber. So really, my dad's a plumber. So I grew up with all these water fixtures growing up, and he had this waterfall feature in a house that we had worked on when I was like 14. I was like, I'm going to use that in a movie. And we just put 40 of them in instead of just one.
45,000 gallons a minute.
Yeah, we did like 45,000 gallons of water a minute in that club. Yeah, Berlin did not like us. Yeah,
but I want
the extras. We always like this when you do martial arts choreography. You're always trying to create the maze. What's the set piece? You watch Jackie Chan or any of the great Hong Kong guys do it, and there's always a maze. They're going through hallways. They're going through things. There's always an obstacle.
So you've seen us do it with glass, with mirror rooms. And then, in the club, we do it with people, movable walls, which we call like background extras. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot more coordination. But there's about 20 or 30 of them that are all professional dancers that were always surrounding Keanu and the cast. And then we took that idea of movable walls and we just went, no, well, we did it with people. Let's do it with cars. And that's how we did it with the Arc de Triomphe.
I want to ask you, Keanu, if you don't mind, filming that Berlin club sequence, because I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time I've seen you doing action with that many extras behind you and around you. What is that actually like as a performer, knowing you have all these people and resetting it? It takes, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes or whatever it might be.
You kind of start working that out when the camera sets up. So when you start moving with the steady cam operator and you start filling in all the extras, they get familiar with what's going to happen. And then if you have to go through people, Chad usually puts in some stunt people that you can shove away and stuff
Blockers.
like that. Yeah.
We always have a couple blockers.
Not just like, hi, I'm just dancing and John Wick hits you in the face. So it's like really you kind of get know the situation, get acclimatized. Everyone kind of gets through the repetition of it. And yeah,
a lot of rehearsals. I mean, most of the way we do the martial art choreography, the way that our stunt guys train is mostly like dancers anyways, all based on memory and motion and group dance or group performance. So when we get together with, I got my 30 stunt guys plus 30 of the dance people, they all kind of work well together. And then we just build the extras out, in sections of 50 so you can train them and then put them in and you realize who's good, who's not, who's got the right look, who doesn't. You kind of partition them off to be in different sequences. It does take time, but I think the effect is very cool.
So can I ask, how long does a sequence like that, how long did it take you to actually film?
In the club with the upstairs, I think I want to say probably 9 days total. I think 9 to 10 days for the upstairs gambling and the club sequence.
And how long before you step on set are you training for that, practicing for that? All the extras are practicing, and how much is all being figured out right there on set?
Keanu and the stunt guys have rehearsed the same.
Oh yeah. So when they were filming Hiroyuki and Donnie Yen's scene, when they're having their showdown in the Osaka Continental in the beginning of the film, I was in another room where we were filming in Berlin, just training and learning choreography, because my fight scene was up after that. And then for the club stuff,